Music. What happens to you while you sleep? Your body rests, but your consciousness travels, and your mind stays fully active. Where does it go? Very few people know the answer, but over the centuries, spiritual traditions and scientific research have been shedding light on this mystery. What I'm about to reveal to you could change your perspective on sleep and the very nature of consciousness forever. If you've ever had a dream so real it felt like another life, share it in the comments. These experiences can reveal a lot about the mysteries of consciousness. Sleep has always been a puzzle for humanity. Since ancient times, cultures around the world believed that when we sleep, the soul detaches from the body and travels to other realms. In ancient Egypt, dreams were seen as messages from the gods. In Greece, philosophers like Plato spoke of the soul accessing higher realities during rest. Today, we know that sleep is essential for the brain and memory to function, but there's something much deeper happening. During certain stages of sleep, brain activity behaves similarly to deep meditation states and even near-death experiences. Studies show that in this state, our perception of time and reality completely changes. But here's the thing. If consciousness were just a product of the brain, why do so many people report lucid experiences, spiritual encounters, and visions that defy logic during sleep? Are they just illusions, or is something real happening? The answer may lie in a phenomenon few people know about: the journey of consciousness. The detachment from the physical body is a fascinating process that happens every night, but few people truly realize what's going on. When you sleep, your body enters a deep state. Your brain frequency slows down, and your perception of the physical world dissolves. But does that mean your consciousness also shuts off? The answer is no. In fact, while your body rests, your mind remains active, operating on levels that science is still struggling to understand. During sleep, we go through different stages, and it's in the REM, rapid eye movement, state that the most vivid dreams and the most intriguing experiences happen. But there's something beyond that. Research from the Monroe Institute and scientists like Dr. Charles Tart suggests that in this state, consciousness can literally detach from the physical body and access other dimensions of reality. This phenomenon is known as astral projection or out-of-body experience, OBE. But why don't most people notice this? The explanation may lie in how we've been conditioned to view reality. From a young age, we're taught that what can't be measured or touched doesn't exist. However, those who've experienced out-of-body experiences report an indescribable sense of freedom, an expanded perception of the universe, and even the ability to visit places they've never been before. There are documented accounts of people who, upon entering this state, were able to describe events and locations far from where their physical bodies were. One of the most well-known cases is that of researcher Robert Monroe, who dedicated his life to studying the projection of consciousness and wrote books detailing his experiences in non-physical realms. And there's one crucial detail. Your emotional and mental state before going to sleep can directly influence where your consciousness goes during sleep. If you fall asleep feeling worried or fearful, you might end up accessing denser levels of the dream experience. On the other hand, if you sleep with a clear intention and a high vibration, you may open yourself up to spiritual experiences and profound teachings. So next time you're about to sleep, try something different. Before closing your eyes, set a clear intention. Tell yourself, I want to remember what my consciousness experiences tonight. This simple practice can open doors to surprising discoveries about your own nature. Have you ever heard about making suggestions before sleep? Few people know this, but the moments before sleep are a powerful opportunity to program the subconscious mind and direct your consciousness towards specific experiences. In the moments leading up to sleep, your brain enters a state known as the hypnagogic phase. a threshold between wakefulness and the world of dreams. In this state, your mind is extremely receptive to suggestions. Great geniuses in history like Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla used this technique to gain revolutionary insights. They would often fall asleep with questions on their minds, and upon waking, they frequently had the answers they were looking for. But how can you use this to your advantage? Simple. Before going to sleep, tell your brain exactly what you want. For example, I want to wake up feeling refreshed and full of energy. May my mind find new ideas for my professional life. Show me ways to generate more financial abundance. Help me solve this problem while I sleep. Allow me to remember my dreams clearly upon waking. These suggestions work directly on the subconscious, which in turn works tirelessly during sleep to find answers and solutions. Often you may wake up with a sudden idea, a sense of clarity, or even a symbolic dream that reveals what you need to know. Moreover, this technique can be combined with the intention of having spiritual experiences during sleep. People who practice astral projection, for example, often repeat phrases before sleep like, "Tonight I will be conscious in the astral world," or "I want to remember everything my consciousness experiences outside the body." With repetition and practice, many of them report lucid dreams, spiritual encounters, and even consciousness-expanding experiences. While the physical body remains still in bed, your mind can cross boundaries that conventional science still doesn't fully understand. Where exactly does your consciousness go? The answer depends on several factors, such as your level of perception, your emotional state, and even the intention you set before going to sleep. Some people report intensely vivid dreams. Others experience what we call lucid dreams. And there are those who describe the sensation of floating outside their body, observing the world from a completely different perspective. Curiously, similar experiences have also been described by mystics, Buddhist monks, and even by people who have gone through near-death experiences, NDEs. Many claim that when leaving the body, they are able to access places that defy three-dimensional logic. Some talk about cities of light. Others report encounters with spiritual guides. And there are even those who describe dimensions where time and space operate in completely different ways. But how can you tell if your consciousness is truly traveling or if it's just a regular dream? There are some intriguing pieces of evidence. Accounts of people who, after having an out-of-body experience, were able to accurately describe details of places they had never been physically, are a strong indication that something very real is happening. Additionally, quantum physics suggests that consciousness may not be restricted to the brain. Neurosurgeon Dr. Eben Alexander, after undergoing a deep NDE, stated that his experience on the other side was more real than his waking life. This leads us to the question, do we access parallel realities during sleep, higher dimensions, or just fragments of our own mind? The answer might lie in dreams. Many of them are not mere creations of the brain, but rather records of our journeys through the cosmos. Before we continue, I want to know if you're interested in learning more about parallel realities. If you are, leave a comment saying, "I want to know more about parallel realities." This way, we can bring you an exclusive video revealing the mysteries of these hidden worlds and how your consciousness can access them. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you won't miss anything. Dreams as messages from the unconscious have always been a mystery studied by different cultures and spiritual traditions. For Freud, dreams were expressions of the unconscious, revealing repressed desires. Carl Jung, on the other hand, saw dreams as a portal to the collective unconscious, where universal symbols and archetypes manifest to guide our personal journey. Many people report dreams that feel like true out-of-body experiences, encounters with spiritual entities, or glimpses of the future. These dreams, called lucid dreams, are those in which the person realizes they are dreaming and in some cases can consciously interact with the environment. Spiritual traditions suggest that during sleep, our consciousness may travel through different planes of existence. In shamanism, for example, dreams are seen as spiritual journeys where the soul can receive teachings from guides or access hidden information. Some Buddhist traditions teach that dreams can be used as training for death, helping the soul navigate spiritual realms after leaving the physical body. And there's something even more surprising. Some people report having had the same dream as a friend or family member on the same night. How is this possible? Could it be an indication that our consciousness can actually interact with others while we sleep? This happens because during sleep, our consciousness isn't isolated within the brain. It can connect to a larger field of information. Quantum physics suggests that everything in the universe is interconnected through the unified field, a deep level of reality where the separation between individual minds disappears. If thoughts and emotions have specific frequencies, it's possible that two people can tune into the same frequency while they sleep, accessing the same dreamscapes. Additionally, the collective unconscious, a concept proposed by Carl Jung, suggests that we share a vast reservoir of symbols, memories, and archetypes. This would explain why people around the world report similar dreams even without ever having met. In deep sleep states, our minds can access this universal database, allowing shared dreams to happen. There are also accounts of joint spiritual experiences, where two or more people claim to have interacted in the same dream environment, and upon waking describe identical details. This suggests that while we sleep, we can access subtle dimensions of reality, where our consciousness is no longer limited by the physical body. But not all dreams are random or mere repetitions of the day. There are those that carry important messages, signs from the universe, and even premonitions. Many people have reported dreaming about something that later happened in reality. This happens because in the sleep state, our minds are not restricted by the rules of physical reality. In the waking world, we are stuck in a linear timeline. Past, present, and future seem like fixed sequences. But when we dream, our consciousness can operate in a reality where time is malleable, accessing information beyond common perception. Physicist John Wheeler, for example, proposed that the past can be influenced by the future in quantum mechanics experiments. If this happens on a subatomic level, could it be that our minds, when disconnected from the constraints of the body, can also access information about what's yet to come? Many scientists and researchers have investigated so-called precognitive dreams. One famous case is that of Abraham Lincoln, who dreamed of his own death days before being assassinated. Wu,